and good morning. My name is Anna, and I'm one of the pastors here. And I thought we would start by thinking of maybe a situation where you realize that you were not in control. Or maybe you realize you planned and you did all this work, and then things didn't turn out the way that you expected them to go. It reminds me of last May. There's a photo here. A couple of us and the high school youth walked at the Angelman syndrome in honor of our very own Lutheran. And we had to get all the way out to Oshkosh that morning. I think we had to be there at like 9. And we couldn't be late because we had to get our T-shirts and we had to have this like opening ceremony. And it's kind of awkward to show up late to a walk. And so, we did all the planning. We paid, we registered, we told everyone, okay, meet at this specific time, so we're not going to be late. We had enough chaperones to carpool, like everything was going according to plan. So we put the address in the GPS, and off we go to Oshkosh. And I was following our other adult chaperone, Lisa. And Lisa was taking this different route than the GPS, but no big deal because, she probably knows where she's going. I don't know, but, we're just following her. And usually Lisa is, a really good driver, but today she must have been off because she's, speeding up, and then she's slowing down, and she's speeding up, and she's slowing down. So I'm speeding up, I'm slowing down, I'm speeding up, I'm slowing down. All right, whatever. So we finally get to this, big high school, and we're thinking, all right, this is the walk. This is going to be really great. And it's kind of odd because they're having a track meet. So you're going to have a track meet for all these high schoolers, and then you're going to have this Angelman syndrome walk. Okay, super odd, but whatever. But it's been about 45 minutes, so we're kind of running late. So Lisa pulls in, and she's going to park. And I'm like, hey, I got to drop these students off so they can go and get the shirts and get ready to walk, and then I'll just meet them. So I pull up, roll down my window, about to tell Lisa the plan, and I realize that's not Lisa. For the past 45 minutes, I've been following this mother and her child. And so we actually ended up in Wuhan, I think it's called. I don't even know where that is. So we were definitely kind of late to the walk. So yeah, sometimes things are out of control and they don't go as planned. And that's the same for our account for today. And so today we're continuing through the Gospel of Luke. And Jesus is just, before our account for today, he's called his 12 disciples. And he's told them with words what it means to be a disciple, right? He's saying, love your enemies, don't judge others. And he's encouraging them to build a foundation, their faith on a solid foundation. And then today in our account, we can see that he's returned to Capernaum. And we meet a centurion. And now a centurion is a Roman officer who's usually in charge of 100 soldiers. And the Jewish people despise centurions because they're usually associated with Roman rule, with abuse of power and injustice. And in our account for today, we realize this centurion has this very sick slave. And the slave needs healing. And so the centurion has asked the elders of the Jews to go out, find Jesus, and ask Jesus to come back and heal the slave. And this is a very odd situation because in that day and age, slaves are viewed as property. And so the fact that Luke describes this slave as highly valued means that he was of importance. And so that's a little bit odd. The other thing that's a little bit odd is that we can see that the elders of the Jews listen to this Roman soldier, right? They go out and they find Jesus, and they listen instantly. Because we have to remember, right? Roman, a non-Jew, Gentile, and Jews. They don't like each other. But here they have this relationship of respect between a centurion and the elders of the Jews. And so the elders of the Jews, they find Jesus and they say, you have to come back and heal this slave because this centurion is worthy. He loves our nation and he's built us a synagogue. And so Jesus comes back with the elders of the Jews to at least meet this slave. And the centurion hears that Jesus is coming back, and he sends out another group of friends. And he says this, "Lord, do not trouble yourself, for I am not worthy to have you come under my roof." And I think that's odd, right? Because the elders of the Jews are saying, you've got to heal this servant because this centurion is worthy. But the centurion isn't able to see that worth for himself. And as we continue, he says, "But say the word and let my servant be healed." Right? Jesus doesn't even have to come. Just say the word and I know he will be healed. "For I too am a man set under authority, with soldiers under me. And I say to one, go, and he says, go. And to another one, come, and he comes. And to my servant, do this, and he does it." The centurion understands this healing power that Jesus has. He has so much faith in Jesus that all he has to do is say the word, and he has faith that his servant will be healed. The other thing that the centurion understands is the authority that Jesus carries, right? The centurion also carries authority. He has 100 people under him, and when he gives a command, he knows that they will do it. And he understands that that is the same for Jesus. And we can see Jesus responding to what the centurion says when he says, he marveled and said, "I tell you, not even in Israel have I found such faith." And then we find that the servant is healed. And here we see this common theme that we see in Luke, where the outsider, the Gentile, the non-Jew, they're the ones who understand who Jesus truly is, right? It's not the insiders. It's not the Jewish people, the ones who are worshiping at the temple and understand all the laws. It's the outsiders who understand Jesus' power and have faith in who he truly is. And what I love here about the scripture is what Jesus actually marvels at. Right? Jesus does not marvel at the fact that the centurion has power and authority. He doesn't marvel at his good works like the Jews of the elders, right? He doesn't say, okay, thank you for building a temple. Thank you for loving the nation. He doesn't marvel at the fact that he's rich and he can't speak on his national origin, right? Because he is not Jewish. But what he marvels at is the centurion's faith. Jesus appreciates the man's humility and his genuine seeking of who Jesus truly is. And if we look at the centurion, even though he's never met Jesus, he's never seen Jesus' healing powers for himself, he believes in Jesus. He believes in Jesus' power, his authority, and his ability to heal. If we take this one step farther, he believes that Jesus cares about somebody that society despises, right? The centurion is a Gentile. And even further than that, he believes that Jesus cares about nobody's nobody because he believes that he will heal a servant of a Gentile. And we too, and today, are asked to have that kind of faith. A lot of what we're reading today, we can be like the centurion. Unless one of us is 2,000 years old, which I doubt it, none of us have probably seen Jesus or his miracles. But we're still asked to have that sort of faith, and we're called to believe. And if we think about this in a little bit deeper, us too, we are like the centurion because I believe all of us have something that is super important to us, that we want to have control over, that we want to have a say in, that we want to end up the way that we see fit. Maybe it's a position in our career. Maybe it's a reputation that we take pride in. Maybe it's a skill that we have, a possession that we are given, or maybe it's a person or a thing. Right, for me, if I think about my own life, the most important person in my life is my mother and my dog. and I'd never want to lose them. And so I'm curious, what is that important thing in your life that you want to have control over, that you never want to lose? And like the centurion who had the slave, the hard truth is that one point in our life, that special possession, that thing, that image, whatever came to mind, we're probably not going to have control over. We might lose. We're not going to have a say in how things are going to end. Right? The centurion, he had authority, he had power, he had money, but he did not have the ability to bring his servant back to life. And that's where the centurion had to have this heart check, realizing that it's not about him and his ability and what he can do, but it's about Jesus. It's about